the main criticism of all this is not necessarily over your statistical critiques of Gary Kleck's work. A lot of this stuff has been around since he did those surveys in the 90s, right? These questions. And I didn't see anything brand new in there as far as what you guys were saying to the CDC. But the main problem people have with it is that this happened in private. It involved both the White House and Senator Durbin's office connecting the CDC with you and Hughes, and then also, of course, the involvement of Poe Murray, who is, Devin Hughes and you are sort of try to stick more to
we're the data
research.
Yeah.
Poe Murray is much more of a traditional gun control activist, and really on the more bombastic side of things. She's commonly attacks people who are not in favor of assault weapons bans or AR-15 bans as being in favor of arming mass shooters and killing children. I don't say that I'm not paraphrasing that. That's things she's literally said, including to one of a father who lost his daughter at Parkland. Mm-hmm. So, the way this came about with the CDC not seeking anyone else's input and doing it behind closed doors effectively, was, I think, the source of the most criticism here. Do you find any issue with that process?
Let me clarify a little bit. I had no contact with anyone other than I was told, let's see, how'd it go? I was asked by Devin and Poe, hey, there's going to be a Zoom, and could you sit in on it and with your statistics on DGUs? That was it. I mean, if there was a deeper than that, I never saw it or heard it. None. Now we have a tendency to, we do not lobby. And as you and I talked about on an email exchange, I was talking about the statistics and whether the statistics are accurate. I don't really consider that lobbying. I could see where some others would. So I can back off myself and say, I don't need to be lobbying because that's not my job.
Well, sure. And I understand. And you didn't seem to be involved in the initial conversation. I will say that from reading all the emails.
I was only at the very end, right at the Zoom meeting.
Okay. All right. So that is good clarity to have for everyone. But obviously your comments strayed into more than just the data aspect. It strayed into the political impact of Gary Kleck's work, right? I mean, this was, you already mentioned it at the beginning of the show.
Sure.
I don't think you're disputing that. So, I mean, do you think people are wrong to be concerned about how this went?
Well, I think that, if you look at a statistic or a number that stops conversations or that stifles conversations, you got to be dubious of that number. Unless it's, if it can be proven, if Kleck could prove his number and how, I'm not sure. I think if he could come up with 25% of his number and prove it, I think people would shut up because they would go, okay, that was hard to do. And it brought that out. But, when you look at the NRA, they have their own defensive gun use database. They use our numbers at least part of the time. I know that because I made a typo that it was a mark typo. It's the same one I make damn near all the time. And I made it, and I was looking at the NRA's database, and there was my typo. Now, we had already corrected ours because when we went through the verification process, somebody goes, well, great, he flipped letters again. And so it went away, but it was still on the NRA. So, I think that it's fair to ask the questions, is this a legitimate number? I think that is very fair. I don't think that's a lobbying issue. I think that's just a straight up, if any number in Congress, any number any politician ever says, it should be questioned.
Yeah, I think that, again, I think it's fine to question this stuff or even to speak to the CDC about it. What I think people have a problem with is that this was done in private and that the CDC didn't seek anyone else's point of view.
See, I don't know that. I can only
Right.
assume that. Do you know that?
Well, the FOIA was for all the communications that were related to this, and
Okay. I just
so,
don't
yeah, it
know.
seems
And
to
I
be
don't
the
know what
case.
was redacted. I saw that there was a lot of stuff that was redacted, so I have no idea what was in it.
CDC says, I asked them directly. They didn't say that anyone else. They reached out to anyone else. They said they talked to other groups.
They didn't really reach out to me.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say I was drug in because I voluntarily came in, but
Sure.
I would not have considered that a private meeting. It was a Zoom meeting with everybody that keeps records. That's not a private meeting. That's just a meeting.
Well, it wasn't open to the public, is what I mean. The public didn't know this change was happening.
I understand that. I understand that. I would have considered that nothing more than how to best describe it. If you were to call the CDC and you get on a Zoom meeting with them asking them questions, would you consider that a public meeting or a private meeting?
Well, private, if it's not open
And
to
would
the
you
public,
consider that right or wrong?
Well, look, I'm not saying that you did anything wrong necessarily.
No.
The question is about the process.
Is it a private? Are we using the word private meeting as a derogatory term, or is it just that's how the meeting happened?
I think it's just a description of how it happened.
So, but if you had to call CDC and ask them questions, and you ended up on a Zoom call, would that be a wrong thing if it was the public was not invited?
Well, no, but I wasn't. But you were advocating for a change, and so if they made that change after only consulting you in private,
well, see, that
seemed to be an issue.
All we knew was we stated a case, and then it disappeared for months.
Right,
and then all of a sudden, I get a note that said, "Oh yeah, we changed this."
Right,
that was it.
Yeah, and I understand that maybe it's not your decision whether the CDC, how it acts, right? I understand that you're on one side.
I told somebody the other night, GVA is a pretty cool group, but we don't have the juice to push the CDC around.